It's always more fun to share with everyone. It's always more fun to share with everyone. If you have to, give one to your friend.
Hey, Joel here. Welcome to Java Joel and Jesus, coming at you today from the One Way Cafe, our youth room here at Hastings E-Free. Hope you're having a great week. I hope that you're making this week all about Jesus, that you're walking with God and seeking Him. Hey, I want to challenge you with some thoughts today, just in regards to your own spiritual life, your walk with God. I was just kind of thinking on some verses, and I just wanted to read some verses to you that I've looked at recently, and they just kind of remind me about the importance of really staying on top of my walk with God and not getting lazy or getting caught up in other things, but to really stay focused. In Proverbs chapter 24, there's a great little passage here. It starts in verse 30. And I'm going to read that to you, and I think it's very applicable to the Christian life. It says this, it says, "I went past the field of the sluggard, past the vineyard of the man who lacks judgment. Thorns had come up everywhere, and the ground was covered with weeds, and the stone wall was in ruins. I applied my heart to what I observed, and I learned a little lesson from what I saw. A little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to rest, and poverty will come on you like a bandit, and scarcity like an armed man." Great passage, because really what it says, just like a garden, if you just leave a garden by itself and don't do anything to water it or tend to it or pull the weeds, it'll eventually get taken over by weeds. It's something that needs to be tended to and maintained. Attention needs to be given to it. Same thing with our spiritual lives, guys. If we don't attend to our spiritual lives, if we don't attend to our own souls, weeds will come up, things will happen, and it will begin to break down, just like that garden of where he saw. And he learned a lesson. A little slumber, a little folding of the hands to rest, and poverty will come on you like a bandit. And so I hope this week that you're thinking about ways that you can invest in your relationship with God. Things that you can do to maybe, pull the weeds in that garden. Get rid of the things that are in the way. Hey, we're going to take a break, and we're going to check out the random fact of the day. And we'll be back with you in just a minute. Hey, it's that time again. Random fact of the week. Hey, did you know when you go to a wedding and you see the bride carrying the bouquet, do you know where that came from? That originally was done to cover up the stench of the bride. Random fact of the day. Hey, welcome back to Java Joel and Jesus. Hey, I've been challenging you guys to tend to your spiritual gardens, that your walk with God, your life, your relationship with God is so very, very important that you continually invest, because there are a lot of things that will try to pull you away from God, things that will really cause your spiritual garden to break down. I was thinking of another passage where Jesus is talking. It's in Matthew 13. Jesus is talking about a sower, somebody that goes out and throws seeds. And he talks about the different types of soils that those seeds fall on. I want to read that to you because there's one particular soil that I really think is applicable to, I think, to you and me. Well, really to all of us. But that same day, Jesus went out of the house and sat by the lake. Such large crowds gathered around him that he got into a boat and sat in it, while all the people stood on the shore. Then he told them many things in parables, saying, "A farmer went out to sow his seed. As he was scattering the seed, some fell along the path. The birds came and ate it up. Some fell on rocky places where it did not have much soil. It sprang up quickly because the soil was shallow. But when the sun came up, the plants were scorched, and they withered because they had no root. Other seed fell among thorns, which grew up and choked the plants. Still other seed fell on good soil, where it produced a crop 100, 60, or 30 times what was sown. He who has ears, let him hear. It's an interesting parable because it talks about 4 types of soil. It talks about the soil that's just a hard, rocky soil that when the seed landed, it didn't penetrate. It didn't even get into the soil. And birds came along and snatched that up. And that's kind of like, when we hear about God and Satan comes along and just snatches that seed away from us. And we never get to a point where we respond and put our faith and trust in Jesus. And then there's also another soil here, which is a rocky soil. The seed falls on it, and it germinates. The seed becomes a plant, but there's not good soil there for it to get a good root system, and so it dies off. And then next is a thorny soil, and really this is the soil that I want you to really pay attention to, because as I think about this one, I think, wow, this is applicable to us. This is the one where the seed falls on the soil and it gets mixed up in all the weeds, and the thorns choke out the life that it has. It becomes a plant. It grows up, it germinates and grows, and it has roots, but there's so many things around it that choke it out. And man, when I think about that, I think about a lot of Christians. Because I think that individual really became a Christian. I don't think that they just didn't get it. I think they really became a Christian. The seed germinated. It grew up. But what happened was the things around it choked it out. And I think those things represent distractions. Things that we allow to distract us in our walk with God. They could be any number of things. It could be our friends. Our friends are awesome and powerful in our life and could be good for us, or they can really be negative and distract us. It could be a relationship with a boyfriend or a girlfriend. It could be a sport or some other extracurricular activity that are good things, but we are so connected and involved in them that they become really a distraction to our faith. Maybe it's a job, or we could go on and on about the various things that are distractions in our world. Could be media, watching TV, being on the computer, Facebook, Twitter. Those things all consume us and take a lot of time, and they can become distractions and keep us from tending to our garden, as we read about in Proverbs. And so I just really want to challenge you guys this week, as you are living out your faith, that you make your faith, your relationship with Jesus, your number one priority, and that you're tending to your spiritual garden, that you're paying attention to it, that you're pulling the weeds, and you're investing in that and not letting the distractions of the world get in the way. Hey, I hope you have a great week. Hope to see you Wednesday night at youth group. We have a great night planned. Keep walking with God. Keep your eyes focused on Him, and we'll see you soon.
It's always more fun to share with everyone.